welcome to the Improv Summit with a brand new logo, y'all, because I realized having it behind me didn't really help. So now you know what the show is for the whole show. Anyway, let's dive into this. Today I have a very special guest. As always, I say that, but I always mean it every time. So I decided to just change it up a little bit by incorporating an adjective that starts with that person's first name and putting it in front of their name so it makes it feel like a very special guest. And today I have with me Joyous Justin. How's it going?
First of all, I've never been joyous in my life, so you're gonna go ahead and change that. That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, so let's just redo this.
Yeah, go ahead. Try it again.
All right, hey, everybody, welcome to the Improv Summit.
Just a freaking asshole, Justin, is what would be great.
You could just be just Justin.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that helps my self-esteem so much.
Yeah, it feels right. You're just Justin.
Nothing special about this guy. Nothing, not one thing.
But you are a very special guest.
Justin. I liked how you introed it. You're like, and today we have a special guest. Well, let me be clear. I say that every time. Okay, so this is just a guest. The special is just a formality for them to feel better, but it has nothing to do with how good they actually are.
I had one person who told me, you always say everyone's a special guest, so I don't feel special. And I was like, all right, well then we're gonna make it special. And then every episode explain exactly how I'm gonna do it, and so I could literally just do it. But I like to explain things because I'm a Capricorn. I want to make sure that people know what I'm trying to say. And if they don't, then I just get frustrated with myself because I have no idea why people aren't understanding what I'm saying. But I know it's my fault, not their fault.
I think you don't have enough time on your show to unpack what that person was going through. I think once you get to the point of being like, well, I don't feel special because you call all of them special, you say, do you have a therapist? And if not, I've got a few that I can recommend to you, and then they can go talk to that person about that. And then we just do the improv on the show. I think is where we start with that.
Well, I mean,
this person's going to watch this and now hunt me down because I'm shitting on them. Am I allowed to say that? Can I
curse?
Why not? I don't know.
Sure, why not?
All right. Not that I'm going to be, every other word, but
I will say that person is not going to be mad because I think they were being completely sarcastic when they said it. But it made me go, wait, maybe they are not. Maybe they're like being true and not sarcastic. So let me change this up a little bit. Anyway,
sure. Yeah, they were being sarcastic. Sure. Yeah.
Enough about past guests and my life, because we hear about it all the time on every episode. Because I like to repeat things that I know my guests have, or my audience has already heard multiple times, but my guest hasn't heard it, so I feel like to repeat it. Let's talk about you, Justin. Let's talk about you and your improv experience. What is your improv experience from your humble beginnings to where you are now?
Oh, geez. So yeah, humble beginnings right here. Uh-huh. Where I am now, right about there. Uh-huh. I started improvising in college. We had I don't have the shirt. I have the shirt somewhere. We had a college collegiate improv group called Tequila Mockingbird. And I joined my senior year because before that I was an RA and a NARC, and I had no time. So my senior year, I found myself with a lot more time to join clubs that I wanted to join my entire rest of my collegiate career. And I auditioned for these guys, and it was does have structure to some point, or that you can choose to follow a structure depending on, what you where you study, what type of, show you're going for. Whether you're going to do a Herald or what kind of thing you're looking to do. So that was kind of where it started out for me. After that, I started I studied a lot more in writing for sketch comedy nowadays, but have been doing improv on and off just when people are like, hey, you're moderately funny. Would you like to, come say a word or two?
I wouldn't say that. I just invited you. Just kidding.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's 100% fair. I like. Let's get back to the whole not special guest thing. And yeah, that's fair. You're like, yeah, no, I'll just take anyone at this point. So that's fair. I like that. That's good. That's really good. Justin, everyone. Hey, how's it going?
See, at least we brought it back. We brought back that game of Just Justin. I also want, it almost makes me think of what is it like? Dear Ashley, that's me. I want to be like Just Justin, that's me. I don't know why that. They're completely unrelated, but they're related. I don't know. The point is, let's move on to our next question.
There's a sketch comedy character in there somewhere of this guy that just has like not the worst self-esteem. He just doesn't expect anything more of himself, like, and just every time that he's.
I remember I did a summer camp once, and we did this Survivor thing where we were different characters, and we went to schools, and the kids actually voted off the characters they didn't like. And my character, his name was Doug, and he was just a very boring guy. It was like my intro was like, I'm Doug, I like the color gray, I like watching paint dry. Oh, it looks like it's drying right now. Like, I was the most boring character. I always got voted off first, except for one time. I was like second, like runner up, and I was like, "Why?" No one liked the boring
Hell yeah,
guy.
Doug. Hell yeah,
It was
Doug.
like one time Doug got all the way up there, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, people are fine with like boring people."
Doug, how do you feel about getting to second place in non-official Survivor, not associated with Survivor?
I just have to say, this has been an experience. This has been an experience. So thank you for choosing me to be runner-up. And please feel free to watch me watch paint dry.
Okay, that was Doug. So moving on with the rest of the show.
Yeah, like it was like he didn't give any like I'm so excited. I'm so like he was just like thank you for choosing me. Thank you. Like it was just very like
he's a real one. Doug's a real one.
Yeah, right.
Doug would have your back,
Yeah. Speaking of having your back, ooh, look at this segue. It's completely unrelated. I know you said you like in college you were not like super busy your senior year, so you're just like I'm just gonna do some clubs and some activities. But what really drew you to improv as like an activity, as a hobby, as maybe partially in your long-term career? What made you want to do improv, and what kept you kind of doing it on and off?
I love working with other people. Given I have a lot of friends that are in stand-up comedy, and I write for stand-up and for sketch and stuff like that. I like bouncing off of other people. I like having an idea thrown at me, and at the speed of light having to volley something back. And it's not always the best thing that comes out of my mouth, and sometimes it's gold. But there is something that I love about improv that is just it's constantly changing and new, which is why I became an actor in the first place. It's just that I can't do a 9 to 5 job. There's no way I get fired on the second day. It's too repetitive for me. I like the changing, the morphing of the world. And one of the things that, as a writer now that I love about it is being able to create an entire world, right? Down to the bricks, if you want. And that's what you're doing with improv is just, in order for it to be funny, it has to be, the audience has to, see the world that you're in. Otherwise, they're going to think that you think it's fake. It's funny when the character is, they're in a world that's real to them. And so the audience sees it, no matter how insane it is, right? So I love that idea of being a Lego master builder in real life, of just piecing the other things in front of people's eyes.
Yeah.
And every time it's different, and sometimes, like I said, it sucks ass, and sometimes it's magnificent. And who cares?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I think it's also like when you talk about sometimes it's gold and sometimes it's not. I work at Universal doing the tour, and I will go off and I will come up with a real gold improv on like something goes awry on the tour, or something doesn't work right, and I have to kind of adjust through it. And sometimes I'm tell a real great joke and it gets a big laugh, and I'm like, ooh, that was a good one. And then I'll go back and do it again on another tour, and it falls completely flat because it just didn't work in that moment. And I think that that's something that is beautiful about the world of improv, is that, you take swings. You just got to take swings. You're not always going to hit.
Yeah.
I mean, your famous baseball players, speaking of swings, they're not always going to hit the ball. But the ones who are the greatest players are the ones who keep going and keep doing it and keep trying something different, keep trying something new, keep going until those everything is a hit. Everything becomes a home run. And then again, people who make home runs don't make home runs every time they play a game. They just don't.
Yeah, look at Babe Ruth. You know, he didn't hit a single ball until the third year of his career, and they kept being like, "Babe, we're not gonna. You gotta like quit baseball." And he was like, "No, no, no. Like the thing that makes me so great is that I take so many swings." And you know, the umpire is like, "Babe, you can't swing 3 times at the same ball, even though it's already crossed the plate." And he's like, "No, no, no. But that's what makes me so good is trying the same thing over and over again until it works." And then that's why he's a great person, you know, in baseball. It's because he took so many swings and hit 2 balls.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a legend. Like,
I'm joking about that, by the way. Babe Ruth hit a lot of things.
Oh yeah,
that's what made him good. I think the art of improv is that the more you practice it, theoretically, the more hits you get. Right? Like, I think the thing that just a lot of people don't feel comfortable with is the fact that you have to understand that you're going to take swings and you're not going to hit everything.
Sure.
And
but if you're named after a candy bar, then clearly you've made it.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you have the great players.
If a candy bar's named after you, is what I mean.
No, I mean, because then you have the other great baseball players like Fifth Avenue and
Butterfinger
and Snickers. I love the great Yankees players, Snickers McMusketeer.
I like Reese's peanut butter lemon head.
Yeah, he was really good. I was not a big fan of him because he was a Red Sox player, so I was, you know, I'm kind of against that. But but yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I love M&M McSkittles. He's another good one.
I love how you're just like everything mix something.
Yeah, that's called I'm not good at this bit right now, and I'm trying to.
I think you're you're wrong. I think you're great at this bit. I think Snickers McMusketeer is probably the most clever thing I've ever heard.
The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is I talk about it all the time.
It's real unfortunate.
You've got Babe Ruth and you've got M&M McSkittles. I don't understand why Snickers McMusketeer is not in the Hall of Fame.
See, and I feel like, just on a side note, Snickers and Musketeers together would be a great, delicious candy, but like M&Ms and Skittles maybe not the greatest combination.
Snickers and Musketeers don't they already have like don't Snickers already have that like a little bit of what is in Musketeers? Yeah, right? They already have that, yes, question mark?
Yeah.
So I feel like a combination of the two would just be more nougat in a Snickers, you know, like it would just be mostly nougat now with like a little bit of caramel peanuts.
I feel like the Three Musketeers, like nougat, is a little softer. It's like more of like a fluffy. It's more of like a fluffy. So if you put more fluffy into Snickers, it'd be like a Snickers McMusketeer. But then I also thought about it with M&Ms and Skittles, and here's the thing. They might actually make the right combo because all the M&Ms, the colors are all the same flavor. Just like Skittles, believe it or not, they all have different colors, but they're all the same flavor. So really you're only getting 2 flavors. You're getting Skittle flavor and M&M flavor.
What are you talking about? No way.
Yeah, it's legit.
When I put a yellow Skittles in my mouth, it tastes the orange one tastes like the sun. That's how it works. If you want to try it out, just put them in the same bowl. You put them in the same bowl, they wear off on each other, and everything tastes like everything. That's how it works.
Yeah, just put a bowl of M&M's, M&M McSkittles. What do we call it? M&M McSkittles. Yeah, M&M McSkittles.
I don't know. I don't know if you had this growing up or not. I remember so distinctively. This is like one of the big life lessons for some reason that has stuck with me from my parents. That like whenever we'd go out for Halloween or whatever. That my dad was so adamant that the candy and the chocolate be kept in 2 separate, like, you know, locations in our like house after we collected it. So the first thing that we do when we got home was separate the candy and the chocolate, because my dad was like, if you don't, they're gonna mix flavors through the friggin' package. And I was like, what? I don't know if there's any science to that to this day, but to this very day, I do segregate my candies.
I will say, separating chocolate and candy, I kind of understand, because if I'm in the craving for like a chocolate, I don't want to like dig through a bunch of candy to find a piece of chocolate. I want just a piece of chocolate. So like not having to dig through like Skittles and Necco wafers and lemon heads, it's a lot easier to just pull a piece of chocolate. But
that was never his thing though, right? Like it's never like he was like, you want to, you want chocolate, you want to work less for it.
Think about it, like a Smarties package, right? It's like the, twisted, but you can still kind of like get the smell or whatever from the opening in the package, because it's not fully completely like, it's not like factory sealed. So if you have a Smarties in the mix with like, say, a Reese's that kind of open, although if chocolate's open, I probably won't eat it because it's probably not fresh anymore.
Oh, but look at Spencer over here. Big guy Oh, you're so cool. You won't eat an open chocolate already. Some of us struggle, okay? All right? Some of us struggle in this world, okay? And
I'm too good for it.
We have to eat whatever chocolate we're presented, open or closed. You know, I back in my day, okay, you saw a closed chocolate that you're in the money, okay? You took whatever chocolate you had, all right? Whether it was open on the street, halfway in someone's mouth, you ate the rest of it.
Okay, so here's my defense. I used to live in a house that had what is it? That had we had candy. So I would clean everything, put everything in my room. So we apparently had a case of rats, which the landlord did not tell us this before we moved in, but apparently
a case of rats.
Yeah, a case of rats.
As if it was like a disease.
Yeah, like we had rats, but like apparently the people before us had rats, the people before them had rats, but they didn't disclose this to us. But we had rats, and one day I go into my room, and I'm looking at my bed, and there's like little rat droppings, and I'm like, the rats came into my room, and then I'm like looking in my closet, and I'm like, why is there stuff all over? I'm like, what happened? And then I see like wrappings of like Reese's cups, and I'm like, huh? And then I go and look, and I found like some chocolate that was in a bag from like an Easter or like something that I just didn't even realize was in there. And I look at it, and there are teeth marks on each of these Reese's. And I was like, oh, the rats literally came in to get this peanut butter, because apparently rats like peanut butter or whatever. And so they got that. And so I was like, I'm very cautious about whenever I get like any food to make sure that it's in one specific spot. So I don't just like happen to accidentally put something in the closet and it sits there and then rats come and get it. I moved out very quickly after that because they were coming in from inside the kitchen. They like had built a hole inside the wall in the kitchen and came in that way. And I would hear them at like 4 a.m. One time we put a trap there so they couldn't get in. It was like a humane trap, but they couldn't get in because we closed off the wall. And you just hear them going, and I was like, oh, it's like I can't handle this. But the person who lived there before us like left trash under the bathtub and like everywhere. It was a mess. So that's why they had rats. That's why we ended up getting rats. Anyway, let's talk more about improv. What do you love about improv?
That's such a vague question. What do you mean? What do I love about improv? What do you love about the air? What does it do for you?
What is the air good for? What is one thing about improv that you really enjoy getting to do in an improv setting?
Well, I feel like I already said it, honestly, is sure. the how much it changes, that it's never the same. My improv is one of my number one loves and also one of my biggest fears in the world. When I started trying improv, it was sheerly out of a way of being like, you need to overcome this fear. And it's helped me so much in doing things like even art, the job where we met, where we have audiences that are, you have a script that you kind of stick to, but your audiences are constantly different, and
they sure are.
You need to be able to adapt and say different things to people, because it's not going to be the same show every single time. So I feel like that it really forces you out of your comfort zone, and it helps you be able to improvise in other things. But at the same time, it's one of my biggest fears. Something that I've always kind of wanted to try, but I had the option to take a musical improv class a couple of years ago when I was still studying with Upright Citizens Brigade. And there was a brief moment where I was like, oh yeah, that could be really cool. And then all of the other moments after that were like, fuck that. I absolutely not. You know, like it's terrifying. It's terrifying to me. I can't rhyme that quickly. There are podcasts that I listen to of people that are really, really good at doing musical improv. Like there's a whole other level that now needs to be in your head of not only making it up, but also making it kind of sound good. And also, you know, trying to rhyme words. I can't think that far ahead.
I will tell
what's
you.
Going to rhyme with
swell. I learned, see, you did it. I learned that vocabulary is very important, which is like going, like whatever word I want to get to. And like I remember I had I think my suggestion was like snowman or snow or something once. So I was like, I'm going to build a snowman in this song because it's easy for me to track building a snowman.
They already did that. But that was a whole thing in Frozen.
I know. But this was before Frozen came out, I think. No, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, but I had said, ooh, I'm going to get to the word carrot. Carrot's going to be a great word to get to. Not realizing that there's not a lot of words that rhyme with carrot.
Carrots.
There was literally nothing. So what I did was I said something like, I was like, oh, it's all icy and snowy, but I'll just have to grin and bear it. Because
I was just going to say bear.
I'm going to give him a nose with a carrot. And like it got a big laugh. And then I was like, oh, that actually kind of made sense. But now I have to do a whole nother half of like getting a rhyming word. And I was like, oh, that one works so well. I didn't think about the fact I got to keep going. And so it is with musical improv specifically, I've also been told not to rhyme and it's perfectly fine. And that's what I go with most of the time. And then when I find myself rhyming, I'm like, oh, look at that. I did a nice little rhyme and then I'll never do it again that clearly and that cleanly. But I've learned with improv a lot of times when I'm not thinking about it is when I tend to do better work than when I start to think about like, what's my next move going to be? What do I need to do? Because when I'm actively in the moment, I start to feel it and I get emotionally connected to what's involved. I think it kind of goes back to that idea, you know, with the musical improv of like it's a challenge and you hear people who have been doing it and knowing that like people have been doing it for years and I'm like, wow, these people are so good around me. Why are they? And I'm like, oh, it's because they've been doing improv 10 years longer than I have. That's why. And when I keep doing it for 10 more years, I hope to be at their level. And it's just a continuation of continuing on, which is why I think also the immersive show that we met at that has different shows throughout. What's great about that is because you have an ever-changing landscape. I mean, the theme changes, so you have to constantly be in mind with the theme, but also with the audiences, like you said. I remember one night I had this audience where they're like, we just want to drink, we don't want to play any of the games. And I was like, I'm going to really help you answer these questions in the games, but I'm not going to just like give you the alcohol. Like, that's just not how this works. And they had a good time because they could not figure anything out. And I would like give them the answer and they still couldn't figure it out. And I was like, look, here you go. Here's the alcohol. Like, you're clearly not going to get this tonight, so just live your life. But I think that that's also where that improv, like you were talking about, comes into play, is like with those audiences, I have to baby this audience, but there's another audience who's like, I just want to figure it out on my own. Like, don't talk to me. And you have to kind of be able to balance having both of those groups in one sitting, one setting, one show. And so I think it's really cool. But yeah. Well, Justin, thanks so much for joining me here on the Improv Summit, which I now have a new logo right here. This is exciting.
It's very nice.
I do have beautiful. One final. Thank you. It was a real. I spent hours in Photoshop doing this. Hours.
You went with that one, so that's cool.
Yeah, even with this one, you know, it took a long time to pick a color. It took a long time to make this shape. It took a long time to write those words out and choose the right font. I mean, it really took some time. But anyway, I have one final question for you, which is the reason why the Improv Summit exists. And that's, I always get a lot of people who always say to me, oh, Spencer, you do a lot of improv. Where should I take improv? And in that voice usually. And I have a hard time answering that question because...
They all sound like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's interesting how like everyone just like sounds like a mix of Jack Sparrow and like a character from Lord of the Rings. But you know...
I think it's... Now, I have a question real quick, because now do they sound regular? Like, do they sound like themselves up until that point? Are they like, oh yeah, and then I went to Sephora and hey Spencer, hey, where should I study improv? Like, does it and then they go back to like whatever? Like, is it just when they say that word?
Gottfried in there.
Hey, Spencer, where should I study improv? I want to be an improv artist.
Was he? Is he Zazu in? No, he's not. Is he Zazu in Lion King?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was like.
Or no. He's the one from Aladdin. He's the bird in Aladdin.
He's
bird.
Oh, he's Iago. He's Iago in Aladdin. Yeah.
Alec Bird Guy is the name, I think.
Yeah, Alec Bird Guy. Yep. Iago, Alec Bird Guy. Apparently. Oh, look at that. That's yuck. Anyway. All right, and the show's over. No, just kidding. I was trying to do like one like real solidly a pun joke on this show.
That's what that was. So, yeah,
that one was solidly a pun.
Now everyone's getting their money's worth. Now there you go, everyone. We did it.
And you can't request a refund because it's free.
You're not allowed to.
And no one gets their time back. That's what I've learned the hard way too. Anyway, but when people do ask me this question in their Gilbert Gottfried style Captain Sparrow voice,
right.
I always have a hard time answering that question because it feels like that's such a broad question with a lot of vast and a lot of multiple myriad answers. But if someone asked you that question, where should I take improv? What would be one piece of advice or one tip you'd give to someone to help guide them on their improv journey?
Well, number one, I think it's unfair to ask me that right now because they haven't seen me improv. So I could give them a suggestion, right? And then they might look it up and then they'll see me improv and suddenly be like, I'm taking that guy's suggestion. Why the hell would I want to be as good as that guy? That guy's awful, you know? So, but I think you're right. I think, I personally studied with UCB. Oh God, sorry, I'm going through puberty still.
No, it's okay. Aren't we all? Who knows what year it is anymore.
I'm still expecting to grow. So hopefully that'll happen sometime. I personally studied with UCB when I was living in New York. I'm obviously no longer living in New York. But I mean, it's tough. Personally, I think that you can look up the different styles of different schools of improv, see if one kind of calls to you. There's different books out there that a lot of them have written to kind of at least give you an intro to what, like the Herald is, kind of thing like that, and like how it works. If one of them in particular calls to you and seems like this is, a nice way or something that's interesting, you try that out. But honestly, I've felt that, and this might sound like a cop-out, that my improv experience and everything, the best of it has come from just performing in general. I don't think that any class that I've taken has taught me anything as close to as much as doing shows like Where We Met, and just doing things that constantly demand you to improvise. Because even if you're not an improviser, you're gonna and you're forced to say something there, something's gonna come out of your mouth. And if it's awful and it doesn't get a response or something like that, as long as it's not, a hateful thing that's come out of your mouth, you'll learn from that regardless, right? Like there's gonna be so many failures before you start to learn what works. But it's the same way if you do stand-up, it's the same way as anything like that. You have to test your sets in front of people that, number one, don't know you, so that they have no, they're unbiased. And number two are brand new, that haven't heard, this thing that's come out of your mouth. You have to try it. You have to do it in order for it to get better. So what I've always said is, yeah, you can go to study with people if you'd like, but honestly, you're not going to improve yourself until you get out there and you start performing, and you get the feeling of what being in front of that audience is really like. Yeah, what I have to say.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's great. And I was also going to say, no, we're not on the moon. We're at a water park right now. So that's improv. That's great improv, is just denying everything that was just said before it.
Always say no. Shut down any ideas. That's the number one rule of improv.
Number one.
Oh, I don't like where you were going with that. It wasn't my direction. That's wrong. Anyway, we're still on the moon, Spencer. Why would you say something dumb and stupid like a water park? That's wrong.
Wee! I love this ride. See,
I love being on the moon so much.
Wee! So much water around here in the water park. Come on, Brad.
Spencer, the drugs, the drugs are hitting hard. Buddy, wake up.
Just kicked it. Wake up. And now they're gone. Wow, great stuff, Justin. Thanks so much. I did say that was the last question I had for you, but I have one more question because, as always on this show, I'm a big liar. And that question is, we've been talking a lot about improv. You want to do some improv?
Nope.
Yep, that's the number one rule is no.
All right, fine. I'll do some improv. That was the number one thing. No, say no, but every time I'll do something. I have to.
No, but I will say yes. Yeah. All right. Cool.
No, but yes.
All right, let's do it. All right, everybody, we're gonna do some improv. Justin, what I need from you is the answer to this question. Do you want a location, a relationship, or a word?
Location.
All right, I'm gonna give you two. You tell me which one you want to go with. These suggestions are a hotel lobby.
Okay.
And a daycare. Hotel lobby or daycare?
Daycare.
Great. And who would you like to initiate this scene?
You go ahead, buddy. I like.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Daycare. So this is the facility. This is where you can bring your children if you want. We've got a lot of high tech equipment. We've got bottle feeders. We've got diaper changers. We've got poop cleaners. We just kind of let the kids do whatever they want. And we've got technology that kind of just does it for them.
No, this is really great, man. Yeah. So I just got like one question.
Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah. So like, how old? Like, what's your age limit?
I mean, it depends. I mean, usually we're on about like 2 to 3.
2
but
to 3.
We can always make an exception.
What years, decades?
Years. But we can always make an exception depending on the situation and the circumstance.
Yeah. So like, what kind of circumstance would you say like warrants like you'd allow someone older than that in?
I mean, it's a case by case basis. I mean, sometimes we can go to like 4 years old if they kind of were born a little later, where they need some more time to prep into kindergarten.
Yeah. Hey, so like, let me level with you. Like, how do I get in here? Because like this place is dope. I would not mind spending my days here. I mean, they got a machine that just sucks the poop out of you. That's great. I'll do that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, as long how many kids do you have? We can put you on a list for a waiting list for when we have some opening spaces for children.
0. I'm not really about the whole kids thing. Ugh.
Oh, okay. Sure. So you're like related to someone who's got some kids, and you're just trying to help out, like a nanny or like a cousin or something.
No. I hate kids. They're the worst.
This is a daycare.
Yeah.
With children.
Yeah. So how, like, what, like, depending on how late they were born, you'd be willing to accept someone older than like 4.
I mean, we don't really have anyone really older than 4 here, but I mean, I guess on a
but you're
specific circumstance, we could make it work.
You would do it. Yeah. Okay. All right. And like, what would you say would be that specific circumstance?
I mean, it really depends. I mean, if the child's not ready for kindergarten, if they just need some more time.
That is great right there. Yeah. So here's the thing. I am not ready for kindergarten, man. I'm not ready for that responsibility in my life. They're like, I tried it once and they were like, yo, which one's a triangle? And I'm like, screw you, dude. I don't conform to societal shapes like that. So I'm not ready for that yet. So I guess my question is like, can I start today or can I like next week? Like when
so
do
you haven't gone through school. How old are you?
35.
35. And you're looking to come here to this daycare for you.
Yeah, I like the whole vibe of this place. I think this could like really like I could chill here. I'm a creator, so like I need to like be in an environment where like I feel free and like where I know my poop's just gonna get sucked out of me by a machine. And I think that that's the place for me. So like, can I start today or next week?
Have you read the contract?
No, I can't read. Like I said, I didn't go to kindergarten.
Right. Well, that explains a lot. It sounds like you're being truthful. That you haven't gone to kindergarten.
No doubt, no doubt.
Usually the exceptions are for extreme circumstances, which this seems to be a rare instance of an extreme circumstance.
Yo, actually, Extreme Circumstance is my SoundCloud name. So check that out for sure. If you need like references, I could like talk to my mom because I'm sure she would want me out of the house. But you can also like if you want to listen to my music, check that out.
I guess I just have one more question for you, and
Yeah,
that
go
is,
ahead.
can you afford the monthly expenses at this daycare?
Nah, but like my SoundCloud though, gonna take off. So like I'm thinking, why don't we just like do like an IOU kind of thing, and then like once in like a week or two from now, when I take off on SoundCloud, like I'll just get you back.
All right, here, I'll make you a deal.
Mm.
Once you have the money to pay for daycare,
Okay.
you can come.
See, like I feel like maybe I could just stay here for today. That'd be great.
It's non-negotiable.
But I'm not ready for kindergarten.
But you have the maturity level of being able to exist on your own freely in the world by making your own decisions.
See, but that's where you're wrong though, because my mom says I got the maturity level of a 4-year-old baby. So you're gonna tell my mom that she's wrong? You can tell my mom that she's wrong? That's really cool. You take care of kids.
Do you want me
You take care of kids, and you're gonna tell my mom that she's wrong?
Why don't you call your mom? I'll talk to your mom.
Nah, I don't got a phone.
Well, should we go talk to her or?
Nah, she dropped me off. She dropped me off and said, "Don't come home." So if we could just start this today, that'd be great.
Oh, actually, so you just need a place to stay for today.
Well, I'm kind of looking for something all inclusive. You know, like I want to. I don't really just like want to find like a hotel or something. Like I'm thinking, you know, this place is great because like you can stay here and then you can also like, you know, explore yourself. And there's also like I was really digging that activity with like where you toss up the sheet and then everyone gets underneath that. That was pretty dope. I could get behind that. And then also the poop sucking machine's a big thing for me, man. I don't got that at home. So like if we could just start that today, that'd be great. I got a big one roasting right inside me right now. So if we could just suck that out.
There's a YMCA right next door that probably is more suited for folks your age.
No, I've taken big dookies at the YMCA, and let me tell you what, they do not suck it out. They do not suck it out. They just wait for it to come out.
Well, I mean, you're in charge of doing it yourself. That's why it takes a long time. Because you have to literally do it.
You may have missed the part where I said I was an artist and a creator. And artist creators do not take their own dookies. Okay.
Let's see. What a duo! What an interesting scene. What an interesting take on Dick.
I just love the idea of a guy that goes in there for himself. Like, you know, like, it's just like I think that
was a fun game to play. Nah, look, we'll just do an IOU, huh? I want something all inclusive. Thanks everyone so much for coming to the Improv Summit. As always, I'm your host, Spencer. That's Justin. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, baby.